Hi everybody, I've just picked up from the local dealer the Process West Terratuff catch can for the 200 series Landcruiser. Just about to unpack the box so you can see what you get in the kit. Obviously there's a set of instructions complete with photos which set out each of the steps for the installation. I've also picked up the additional drain valve which allows you then to put a hose to drain the tank. The reason I've done that is the location in the Landcruiser is fairly tight and it would be difficult to remove the drain plug regularly otherwise. In the box you find two hoses which are all pre-formed, so there's no joins, there's no elbows, they're all designed to fit in the location straight from the manufacturer. A few stickers, and then the catch can itself, all made from one billet, CNC mold cut. See there the hole where the pressure valve goes, the inlet and outlet, and the drain plug there. I'll just take the top off here, just bear with me a minute. Okay, so we've removed the cap from the can, and the filter unit just slips in from the top. This is a washable filter. It's actually made by Unifilter and supplied to this manufacturer, so you don't have to replace that on a regular basis. You can simply, when you empty the can, wash that out using mineral terps. So quite a good idea, a very good filter, quality filter, and should last a long time. Also in the box the various parts that screw into the can, and some screws to fit around the top here to hold that in place on the bracket. So sticking into the bag here, some hose clamps, two mounting brackets. One is to hold the hoses across the front of the motor, and the other one's to support the actual mount for the can itself. The last item in the box is the actual bracket to hold the can. It's specifically designed for each model, but for the Landcruiser it has these two holes at the bottom, and then it has a support bracket which is supplied separately that runs off the side. The reason this bracket has the step in it is because utilising two existing holes in the inner guard of the Toyota, so simply just adding some screws to that and the other bracket. So that's the unpacking of the box. We'll move on in a while and show you how it goes in. It should be fairly straightforward, but we'll see how the instructions go. Okay, the first thing we're going to put in is the bracket for the can itself. It's composed of these two parts, the right angled bit and also the stepped part at the bottom. It's meant to have two 6mm screws to go into existing holes in the inner guard, but there was one missing from the kit. Fortunately I've got a spare here that will do the trick. So from here what we need to do is remove the air filter cover to give us better access to these bolts holes here in the mudguard. Okay, we've got the bracket mounted now, the two screws here at the bottom and this one to the side. I've got an extra battery fitted to my Landcruiser, that's why I've got these extra electrical parts here, but they don't interfere with that. The installation is quite straightforward. Okay, we've added all of the parts there, just snipping them up with a shifter. The tap, I needed to put a packer in so that the angle for the to release the tap was accessible. and of course at the back is the pressure relief valve. So the next thing is to mount that can onto the bracket. Allen key or hex key to tighten up the bolts, and also if you just test fit the hose, it will give you the correct angle before you actually tighten them up. It'll save you having to adjust it later. The other thing you need to remove is your cover over the intercooler so you can access the pipe connections and the bracket. These are located over here, and also the bracket connects onto this bolt here. Mounted to hold the hoses to ensure that they don't foul anything. You'll see that that's really quite close to the fan there, so it's important to tie those hoses to keep them clear of the fan and anything else in that area. We've got the first hose on there after removing the little breather hose that goes between the two ports, and the second hose will come across parallel and then go on to this one here, so that this hose goes to the bottom outlet on the can, and this hose goes to the top on the can. This is now, and the clamps tighten up. The last item in this part is to attach the hoses to the bracket, and we're going to use the 2 cable ties and 2 screws that are provided. Here's the cable ties in place. Just make sure you've got them around the right way before you tighten them up, and also not too tight, because as you tighten the bolts down it will put a little bit of extra pressure on the pipe. Okay, we've tightened up all the clamps and put the cover back on the intercooler. The air cleaner cover's back and the unit is installed with the clamps tightened up, all ready to go. Just take your time and you'll find it goes fairly smoothly. Just those couple of things to watch are the cable ties and also the mounting of the angle of the can before you hook the hoses up.